Hey everyone, it's Ivan, KitBadger.com, out here to tell you about the 3-day urban rifle class down at Thunder Ranch. I'm always grateful for every chance I get to go down to Thunder Ranch. Incredible facility, amazing training, and yeah, 3 days of urban rifle was just that. Awesome training, incredible facility. Like most classes down at Thunder Ranch, started initially with essentially briefing on what you're going to cover, as well as safety brief, all that stuff, with none other than the founder, Clint Smith.
That rifle, ladies and gentlemen, is paid for in blood in the truest sense of the word, not just mechanics. People have died with that gun in the beginning. We were only issued an intact cleaning rod and 3 magazines. When people got hit, we would put their body or the person wounded on a helicopter. We would throw the rifle on because we didn't want that son of a gun, okay? We would throw the cleaning rod on, or a lot of times keep it and take all their magazines, and other than that, get out of here. And then if you were sort of a new guy and stupid and didn't really understand what you're doing, you go, sure, I'll carry that M79. Bloop. What are you doing?
I love those briefs. They're amazing. All kinds of gems and new stuff every time you listen to one. To include, talk about old Jog's new tricks. Pretty sure Clint Smith threw in a YOLO, which he just recently learned is you only live once, which cracks me up. But bringing us through, I guess about halfway through that first day, we ended up then going up to the range with both Jack, the director of Thunder Ranch, as well as Colton, one of the instructors, and initially go over some stuff and get to work zeroing guns. Definitely grateful for everyone at that class. Largely everyone's guns were zeroed, so pretty much just worked through a number of yard lines, 25, making sure we're good on paper, back to 50 if people are confirming those, and then ultimately back to 100 where we either saw where our zero was printing or confirmed zeros if you were shooting a 100-yard zero. And then after that, for the rest of that day, pretty much just got to work through a whole number of different drills. Really good time working skills out there on the range.
Check on your partner. Good. Make sure he's down. Back.
Thunder Ranch is in beautiful Lakeview, Oregon, which is known for incredible weather. And by incredible, I mean it's incredible in that who knows what it's going to be. So there we were with snow, hail, pretty much everything that day. And since it started out with not the best weather, initially taking that time, which I do appreciate Jack and Colton, be able to just shift and be like, all right, we're going to do this right now. Basically went inside into the Terminator and essentially went through a block on, for lack of a better term, CQB. Keeping in mind, absolutely not a CQB class, but kind of all-encompassing urban rifle class. And part of that is, hey, if these people are going to come to Thunder Ranch to take this class and take no other class, we want to make sure they at least have concepts and principles. And that's really what it was about. Concepts and principles of working interiors of buildings to the end of, if for some reason you're in your house and you need to get to your family, then here's best practices to get to your family and keep them safe. And then following that, out there on the range, just enjoying that weather. And we really spent kind of that whole day working through a number of different drills. All kinds of different stuff, just emphasizing different aspects of urban rifle. We also shot some cool drills, basically involving movement and use of cover. And slowly but surely, getting the movement piece as well as the cover piece, and finally putting all that stuff together. Something that Thunder Ranch is really big on is that trifecta of combat, i.e. shoot, move, communicate. And so basically integrating a number of different things to have you work on those, both the communication aspect as well as the movement piece, and get to work through drills that just really emphasize that, to include some stuff on positional shooting. And that right there wrapped up day 2. Coming back out on day 3, man, the weather definitely turned a corner. And immediately out there on the range, getting started with a quick safety brief and straight into shooting. I really enjoyed day 3 also in that the way it was structured is the line, like the firing line, was continuously working a number of different drills, whether it was stuff around barricades or movement drills, all kinds of different aspects of largely building on everything we'd worked on those first 2 days, building off of that. And then as people would get basically pulled aside, people would get pulled off the firing line, go back to the Terminator, so they could do a run through the shoot house. The shoot house is really neat in that you essentially have all kinds of problems to work through. And even if you've been to Thunder Ranch a number of times, it is always different. While largely the layout stays the same, the routes through the house are always changing to include where targets are, all these different things. And yeah, plenty of problems to work through. Just taking a bite at a time, moving as fast as you can process information, and making your way through. Also on that last day, something that was pretty fun is almost kind of a battlefield pickup drill in a way, in that, I mean, are you good with your gun or are you a student of weapon craft? And so there's basically a drill that we ended up doing where you're starting on the back crack, so I don't know, probably like 5-7 yards or something from your rifle, and on the command go, you go up, grab your gun, there's a red piece of steel up on the hill, break your shot, get it, and cool, you're good to go. Safe the gun, ground it, and then rotate. So ultimately you end up shooting through everyone's rifle over the course of this whole drill. And really interesting just seeing how the way certain people have set up, whether it's triggers, optics, any of these different things. And I think one of the biggest ones for me, like straight up, like grabbing guns, is keep in mind, I was basically shooting irons, some flip up ScalarWorks Peak iron sights, and I like them. I like shooting irons, but then grabbing a gun that had, for example, like an optic riser on it, and throwing it up and being like, oh, like my optic is not there, and having to basically make that quick adjustment so that you can get your hit. But pretty fun drill. I really enjoy training at Thunder Ranch, and honestly, that urban rifle class is awesome. Not the first time I've taken it. It might be definitely the second, if not the third time I've taken it. And every time it's the same, and every time it's different. Like, how can you do both? It always surprises me, honestly, at how much they're able to fit into that urban rifle class. Keeping in mind, it's not a mile wide and an inch deep. Like, it all comes back to running a rifle at pistol distances, which is what urban rifle is all about. More on that in a minute. And just, I really enjoy it. Like, everything is centric to that, to include the integration of both movement as well as communication, which is really important. And such a cool range facility to include the way they actually have their moving targets set up, so you get to track movement. And when you look at it kind of, if you just look at it kind of in isolation, you're like, oh, the target is just moving left and right. And that's exactly what it's doing. But if you look at it in context to how a human is moving, it's a perfect analog to it, in that the head moves a lot and the thoracic cavity moves less than the head, but still quite a bit, and the pelvis is largely pretty stationary, which is how people move. And it actually creates a great analog to movement. And then of course, using your imagination, basically engaging your target, and then having targets on the ground to where give your commands like, hey, do not touch the gun, whatever it may be. Like, I get it. We're involving a little make-believe for the sake of doing the drill. But it's important because usually if you shoot someone, they're going to go to the ground, at which point, if they're still a threat, they probably need commands, or so that they are not continuing to be a threat, or you have to engage them again, which end up doing all that stuff through the course of those drills, which I think is really handy. And to the end of credit where credit's due, urban rifle, or for that matter, every modern carbine class you've probably ever seen or been to. It is basically a derivative of urban rifle, started by Clint Smith, I want to say in 1983. Before that, a rifle class was a rifle class. You're shooting 200, 300, 500 yards. You're doing rifle work. All of the modern carbine classes, or urban rifle, is basically using a rifle, a carbine, in pistol distances, which people absolutely did. Like if you look back to World War I, like clearing trenches, World War II, going house to house with M1 Grand, all of those things, absolutely rifles in pistol distances. But even back then, it was, hey, like, we're going to go do marksmanship. We're going to go do rifle things with our rifle. There wasn't like a cohesive training or anything like that as far as, hey, how do I use this thing that's good at a distance up close? Because frankly, it's better than a pistol up close as well. And I definitely appreciate Clint Smith pioneering that, and continued to this day. Man, that urban rifle class is awesome. If it's something you're interested in, there will be links down below. You can check it out, as well as a loadout from what I had there in the course. Probably pay special attention to the weather, because who knows what you're going to get down there. But as always, thanks for joining us at kitbatcher.com. Look forward to seeing you next time.